UFC Fight Night Sandhagen vs. Song is coming up this weekend, and I'm going to be looking at every single matchup on the card and giving my prediction and breakdown for every single matchup. I'm going to be looking at the first matchup of the card, and it is Loma Lookboonmee versus Denise Gomes. Lookboonmee, 6-3, is not really good on the ground, alright on the feet, and has some solid leg kicks. For Denise Gomes, she's 6-1, just won her fight on the week 5 of the Contender Series for this season. Good on the feet, more powerful, better leg kicks, and more variety in her moves on the feet than Lookboonmee. I'm going to be taking Gomes in this fight. She has some solid jiu-jitsu if she wants to take her to the ground, and I also think Gomes can avoid and out-clinch Lookboonmee in those situations. I also think Gomes has some better stand-up, better leg kicks, and more moves in general, and will outclass her for a 30-27 decision. Up the card, we have Tony Gravely versus Javid Basharat. Gravely, 23-7, picks his shots on the feet, good power in his hands, does have some good solid takedowns, but can also be taken down himself. He was taken down by Maines at one point in their fight, and Anthony Burchak was also able to reverse position on hhim. Javid Basharat, 12-0, very technical on the feet, throws some good body shots. He wore down Trevin Jones' body in his matchup, is able to manage distance very well, has solid power in his hands, and although he does wind up some of his shots, good takedowns, good grappling, and has good ground and pound also, and also has some good submissions. I'm going to choose Basharat here. He is just way more technical than Gravely on the feet, and he can manage his distance very well, avoiding Gravely's power shots. He could also probably take Gravely down and sub him or wear him down on the ground with some ground and pound. I'm going to take Basharat by a third round finish by either a sub or a TKO. He will likely wear Gravely down with body shots and will be looking to deal shots of damage on the ground. I could also see the fight go to a 30-27 decision. It's more of a 50-50 choice in regards to how he wins the fight. Up the card, we have Aspen Ladd versus Sara McMahon. I didn't really go crazy on this matchup. It is a pretty close matchup in general. It is a little bit lower level than I would like, but it's also very close on Tapology. You have pretty close percentages here. They have 42% for Ladd and 58% for McMahon. I do think they both have some solid grappling, but I will edge that to Sara McMahon. And then on the feet, if Aspen Ladd is a little bit more productive and has a higher output on the feet, I think she is a little bit better than McMahon on the feet. But I do not trust Aspen Ladd. She is coming off of 3 losses in the last 5 of her last fights. For Sara McMahon, she won her last fight against Carol Rosa. I think I'm going to lean Sara McMahon here. I cannot trust Aspen Ladd to finish a fight here. I feel like I don't want to say underwhelms, but she's just not as active on the feet as I would like her to be. So yeah, I'm going to go with Sara McMahon for this matchup. It is basically just an underdog pick, I think she is. I want to say she's an underdog pick. I'm not too sure, but I'm just going to go with her. Nothing too crazy about this matchup in all honesty, but yeah. Up the card, we have Maria Agapova versus Gillian Robertson. Agapova, 10-3, is very long, doesn't have good technique on the feet at all, has some solid kicks that she has. One that she did KO Hannah Cyphers with. Doesn't have any takedown defense, can tire herself out at times due to her throwing too much output in the first round. For Gillian Robertson, good takedown defense, good jiu-jitsu, not good stand-up, but does have some decent oblique kicks. The fight is a lower level women's MMA fight, and those often are hard to predict, but I'm going to go with Gillian Robertson due to the fact that I don't think Agapova will be able to stop Robertson's takedowns and will end up submitting her on the ground in the first round. Even with Agapova's 5-inch reach advantage, I still don't think she will have much time to use it. So I am going to be going with Gillian Robertson in this matchup. Up the card, we have Anthony Hernandez versus Marc-Andre Barriault. I think is how you say it. Hernandez, 9-2, has some decent power in his hands, can defend most takedowns. Showed it against Rodolfo Vieira in a big upset win. Solid takedowns himself, likes to deal damage on the ground. Isn't the most technical fighter, but he also likes to walk guys down to deal damage. Andre Barriault, I believe is how you say it, 14-5, decent hands, but can punch out of range quite a bit when at distance. Has some solid pop into shots, but also has some good knees and some body shots. I think Hernandez can keep this at range and deal damage at range for 3 rounds and try to mix in takedown attempts to get Barrialt. Thinking about defending the takedowns, Barrialt has some good takedown defense, but the threat of the takedown might be an issue for him in this matchup. So I'm going to be going with Anthony Hernandez. There we go. Up the card, we have Damon Jackson versus Pat Sabatini. Jackson 21-4, good grappling, poor shot selection, not very good on the feet. Leaves his midsection open, where Topuria was able to take advantage of those body shots that he used in his fight, was able to kind of drop Damon Jackson with the body shots. Tons of damage there, and then worked up to his head, and then TKOing him. Pat Sabatini, 17-3, good wrestling with good shot selection, can be taken down himself, but often works himself back up. Is solid on the feet with guys that aren't solid at all on the feet. Has some good body kicks and likes to throw the overhand quite a bit. For the description of this matchup, this is a very interesting fight because they both have good wrestling when fighting. This may resort to the stand-up. Even though Sabatini can be taken down, Jackson normally doesn't have good shot selection and is very messy when shooting, so Sabatini will be able to defend them. Sabatini can mix in the body shots to set up his takedowns to win the fight by a 30-27 or a 29-28 decision. So I am going to go Pat Sabatini. Off the card, we have Trevin Giles versus Louis Cosce. Giles 14-4, good power in his hands, good jab, wings some punches, good wrestling, and likes to have his hands down and pick his shots, which is kind of just how he does a stand-up in general. For Louis Cosce, 7-1, hasn't fought in 2 years, solid wrestling, has some pop in his shots, and not too much though. Good elbows, likes to make things messy on the feet, kind of clinching up, doing the dirty boxing a little bit, holding, obviously, if you don't know what that is, clinching, and then just uppercuts, tight boxing, really close area, not much range. Leaves himself really open when he punches, relies on his toughness way too much than he should. For the fight, I'm going to give this fight to Giles. He has more power in his hands, and I think he could get the better of Cosce in the wrestling, or they could at least cancel each other out. Giles has some good jabs and could limit Cosce from coming in with his 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. I can see Giles TKOing Cosce when Cosce shoots a failed takedown and he kind of freezes on the ground. Somebody throws punches at him, relying too much on his non-existent head movement when hurt, along with the fact that Cosce has not fought in 2 years. So yeah, I'm going to go with Trevin Giles for the win. Of the card, we have Nicholas Mota versus Cameron Van Camp. Mota is 12-4, has some solid hands, nothing crazy in the power department though. Waits for the other fighter to engage to throw counter punches. Look lost against Jim Miller. Chin is alright, might struggle with some powerful strikers. Van Camp 15-6, good power in his hands, uses his keeps and leg kicks very well. Keeps his hands super low and does not protect himself when going in, which caused him to get KO'd by Fialho, Andre Fialho. And then does have a worrying chin to be fighting the way he does. Keeps his hands really low. Against Fialho, he started winging punches quite a bit, left his chin out. And yeah, it's very worrying watching him fight. This is a very tough matchup to predict, very opposite of what the betting lines say. Mota did not look good in his last fight. I felt like he was just sitting there throwing the same combo and eating punches and leg kicks from Jim Miller. With Van Camp, he is good on the feet, just leaves himself way too open to trust him with a guy with decent power. I'm going to edge a KO for Van Camp here. I can see him using his length to leg kick and front kick Mota to the body, keeping him out of range so he doesn't have to go with punches. I can also see Van Camp catching Mota coming in with a strike like he did versus Fialho early in this fight. Fialho is a really good opponent, and Van Camp did well early in that fight, while Mota lost to a older Jim Miller by KO. I'm going to go with Van Camp by a 1-2 round KO as an underdog choice. Realistically, this is more coming of how Mota did not do very well against Jim Miller, like I said. And I think Van Camp does have some really good striking, just can't protect himself very good. And his chin is very worrying. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go with Van Camp. Up the card, we have Trey Ogden versus Daniel Zellhuber. Ogden 15-5, is alright on the feet, isn't great defensively. Was briefly able to take down Jordan Levitt, who is a good grappler himself and wrestler. later in the fight may be more susceptible to getting. Zellhuber 12-0, good powerful hands, has some good combos, throws some nice kicks as well. Leaves himself open but has a good chin to fight with his style. Has a good hip toss that he used on the Contender Series, solid jiu-jitsu as well. For this matchup, I'm going to give this fight to Zellhuber. I think he will be a better on the feet using his leg kicks and high kicks to his advantage in this fight. He has a 5.5 reach advantage in this fight, so he will be able to set Ogden up with his hands and catch him with kicks. Jordan Levitt was also able to hurt him on the feet in the third round of their fight, and it also didn't check any leg kicks he threw. So I'm going to go Zellhuber by a second round head kick KO. Up the card, we have Andre Fili versus Bill Algeo. Fili, 21-9, solid in the stand-up, can get caught on the feet sometimes, good wrestling, has some good scrambles also. Was able to reverse position on Bryce Mitchell a couple times in their fight. Algeo, 16-6, good stand-up, very technical on the feet, has a black belt in BJJ, and does have some great jab and good takedown defense. For this matchup, I'm going to give this fight to Algeo. If I can get the check mark, it is going to Algeo. Due to his stand-up ability and how good he is at defending takedowns and submissions, Fili won't be able to wrestle him because Algeo can defend those takedowns, and I just think Fili can get caught on the feet quite a bit. I'm going to take Bill Algeo by a third round TKO, second to third round TKO. Up the card, we have Alen Amedovski versus Joe Pyfer. Amedovski, 8-3, has lost all of his UFC fights. Has a suspect chin. Lost 2 fights in the first round where he proceeded to get knocked out. In the John Phillips and the Joseph Holmes fight. I'm sorry, he was knocked down in those fights. Solid counter punching and has some good power in his hands. Joe Pyfer, 9-2, won on the first week of this year's Contender Series. Good power in his hands, throws shots at a time. He normally gets going on the feet after a couple minutes into the fight. Good leg kicks and does have some good grappling. Trains with Sean Brady, of course. For this matchup, I have Joe Pyfer winning this fight in the first round. I can see him going there and trying to KO Amedovski immediately and drop him within the first minute of the fight and finish him there. Amedovski's last 2 fights, he got dropped within the first 1 minute of the first round, and I don't think that changes here. I have Pyfer by a first round KO. Up the card, we have Tanner Boser versus Rodrigo Nascimento. Boser, 20-8, has good power in his hands, picks his shots, isn't too active on the feet. For Nascimento, 8-1, good grappling, and does have some solid hands. These guys are pretty big dudes also, so this should be very interesting. I'm going to go with Tanner Boser in this matchup. Let's hope I can grab the check mark, because I never can. I'm going to go with Tanner Boser here because he has the power in his hands to end the fight. Nascimento is longer in the fight, but I don't think he has enough power in his hands to get the KO. He has also gotten KO'd by Kyle Dawkins, so that is very interesting if you follow the sport. So I'll go Boser by KO. Chidi Njokuani versus Gregory Rodrigues. Njokuani, 22-7, powerful hands, is able to put combos together, good takedown defense with some good jiu-jitsu. Also, Rodrigues, 12-4, powerful in his hands, can leave himself open at times on the feet, and does have a good jab. I'm going to go with Njokuani, I think is how you say the name, in this fight, just due to his crazy power. Not necessarily crazy, but he does have some amazing power that he has taken guys out with. He's also able to stuff takedowns and does use some good jiu-jitsu. He could also use a jab to hurt Rodrigues because Njokuani has a 4-inch reach advantage. So I'm going to go with the first round KO, even though Rodrigues is super tough. Maybe not first round KO. I can see a TKO happening later in the fight. But Njokuani is a very tough dude, throws a lot of power shots in there and could hurt guys really badly, even though Rodrigues did beat Julian Marquez. But yeah, I'm going to go with Njokuani by KO. Up the card for our main event of the evening, we have Cory Sandhagen versus Yadong. Sandhagen, 14-4, good movement on the feet, good head movement, unique style when he fights, has some good stand-up, some power in his hands, and works the whole body. For Song Yadong, 19-6, heavy hands, good combos, good leg kicks, works the body. For this fight, I'm going to go with Sandhagen, I believe. I think I've finally decided on that one. I'm going to go Sandhagen. I think he's going to be able to avoid Yadong's hardest shots and circle around and use his jab with his reach advantage and pick him apart. Yadong is very fast on the feet and could catch him, but it seems very unlikely. Yadong also has a lot of power in his hands, very quick on the feet, like I just mentioned. Can use his leg kick and throws a lot of combos. Very good on the feet. I just think Sandhagen's going to be able to circle around, avoid some of those big shots. This is a 3-inch reach advantage, so yeah, he'll be able to out jab Song Yadong. He'll just need to keep him at range, use his head movement to avoid some shots and unload some combos, use some kicks, maybe do some unique stuff on the feet. But yeah, these are my picks for this upcoming weekend of UFC fights, Sandhagen versus Song. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.